Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Let Me Learn Ya, and in today's episode, the world sucks. The world sucks right now, right? There's a lot of uncertainty, there's chaos, there's war, there's fighting, there's arguing, there's Arrested Development still being canceled. People are super mad about The Little Mermaid. And because of all these issues going on, it actually influences one of the most important things to every human on this planet, and that is our food supply. At the end of the day, if you do not have food and water, you are doomed, friend. You are doomed. We all went through the craziness of the beginning of COVID. I remember how frightening it was, like mid-March, when I went super early to go to a grocery store and the shelves were wiped. Just gone. So we've all suffered from that, the rising food prices, gas prices, and there are rumors that just keep coming and reports that just keep coming that it's going to get worse. So I'm going to share with you the 8 food categories that I stock up on as a dietitian during uncertain times. This is not the time for uber fresh greens picked from a farm 6 miles away from your house, still has fresh dew and chicken poop on it. That's how fresh it is. This is not the time for that, okay? This is the time for survival. We want cheap, we want sturdy, and we want to make sure that we are not developing nutrient deficiencies. So let's focus on nutrients first. The 3 things you want to focus on with regards to nutrients in times of food uncertainty are calories, protein, and preventing a nutrient deficiency. With regards to calories, you need to ensure that you are getting enough energy into your body, whatever that is, to prevent your body from turning to your muscle to use as energy. Protein is very important because, again, it helps to prevent exactly what I just said. Amino acids, which are the tiniest forms of protein, are literally the building blocks of practically everything in your body. So we're talking immune support, hormone support, and just so many other functions. Trust me, you want it, okay? It's amazing. And lastly, you want to prevent a nutrient deficiency by making sure that you're getting foods that are enriched, have vitamins in them. During these times, you might not have access to the foods you normally would. So you just want to make sure all your bases are covered and you don't suddenly start bleeding from your gums and, get scurvy. Nobody wants scurvy added to their list of things they got to worry about, Second thing you want to consider is cost. This may not be a problem for some of you, but for so many of us, it will be. Not only are food prices drastically rising, but everything is rising. Cost may be something that you have to consider, and my recommendations in this video consider that, and they are low-cost food items. So we want low-cost food items that give us the biggest bang for our nutritional buck. And you want shelf-stable, because you don't know how long this food shortage is going to last. You don't even know if it's going to happen. You just want to be prepared. And you can't do that if you're purchasing Whole Foods vegetables that literally mold by the time you get to the cashier. You need stuff that is going to last for months, maybe even years, that when you need it, it's going to be sitting there waiting for you with a smile on its face saying, "Eat me." What is wrong with me? First group that I make sure that I start stocking up on are the enriched grains. Enriched grains are literally built to prevent nutrient deficiencies, and they usually include thiamine, niacin, riboflavin, folic acid, and iron. They are also insanely shelf-stable. Listen, okay? Apparently pasta lasts longer than Twinkies because pasta can last indefinitely. It's not so much that it goes bad, it's just the quality degrades. So pasta is something you want. You want cereal because cereal, again, very shelf-stable, also just packed full of vitamins. I know all the ingredient label warriors and crazy shirtless keto people that run through the grocery stores are like, cereal's the most evil thing on the planet. Well, not when a zombie apocalypse is happening, okay? So, shuddy. White rice is another example of when typically healthy doesn't work well in the zombie apocalypse, and that is because white rice has the bran and all of that removed, and those parts of the rice go rancid quicker. So white rice is actually more shelf stable than brown. So this is the time for you to enjoy your white rice and tell everybody else to suck it. Oats. Oats are amazing, super full of nutrients. You can make practically anything out of them. You can just add water if you want. They will last forever. These are all shelf-stable types of grains that are also enriched to prevent you from developing nutrient deficiencies. And also, any type of product like this has some protein in it as well. Second category of foods, canned everything. This is a big duh, right? But beans out of anything will be your best friend. They are like the multitaskers of zombie apocalypse food. They are insanely shelf stable. They can, I believe, last for 2 years in the can. They are uber high in protein. They're uber high in multiple types of nutrients that you might be lacking if you don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, such as magnesium and potassium. And they're full of fiber to keep your little butt bugs happy. Don't get me started on beans. They're amazing. I think I already got started on beans, but whatever. Okay, you guys forgive me on that. Okay, cool. Any type of soups, you got meals in a can. And if you have to, you can eat them cold and it's gonna be fine. This is another example of where you wanna throw healthy out the window. Normally people would say they're so high in sodium, we can't eat these. Well, guess what? If you're living in zombie apocalypse time, you are gonna want sodium in your body. And that sodium is gonna help you hold on to fluids better, and you will be less dehydrated than your healthy, uber perfect neighbors. And then when they die, I'm just saying, if it's really desperate times, any type of canned fruit or veggies that you can get a hold of, again, these will last for years in your cupboard. So maybe this is happening before the zombie apocalypse happens and you're like, I just want to be prepared. Get these cans because they will last you for years. So some canned veggies that you'll want to consider stocking up on are pickled or fermented veggies, such as pickles, kimchi, sauerkraut. Get the jars of the pasta sauces because if you are stocking up on the pastas, you are going to want to have pasta sauces. And in the protein department, any types of canned meats, canned fish, canned oysters, canned sardines, canned chicken. Plant foods that are much more shelf stable than others. So for instance, spinach will disintegrate like overnight. But a potato, which is again, everybody knows, my favorite, will last you for months and months and months. So get your hands on things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are little powerhouses of protein and nutrients, because if you think about it, a seed has to contain all the nutrients that a plant needs to grow into a humongous plant. Spices can be shelf stable for 2 to 3 years. And again, it's more of a quality degrading issue than a going bad issue. So pick some of your favorite spices, or if you're really lazy, just purchase mixes that are already made in the store. Fats, oils. Usually the claim is that oils can last 18 to 24 months. I personally know that certain oils go rancid earlier than that, and specifically olive oil. I can smell it, it's like bleh. But if you don't open those oils and you have them on hand in your cupboard in case the zombie apocalypse happens, then yeah, they could last that long. Now the ones that last longer and tend to not go rancid as fast are saturated fats. Saturated fats are more shelf stable. So this is another example of throwing health out the window. Things like Crisco, lard, and coconut oil are going to last you longer than things like vegetable oil, olive oil. You're gonna wanna have salt, and you're gonna wanna make sure that that is the iodized salt version. Not your fancy Himalayan, doesn't have any fillers or binders or whatever in it. Nope, because if you're in zombie apocalypse land, you don't want to add hypothyroidism to your list of things that suck. And there's a reason why that salt has iodine in it, to prevent you from developing hypothyroid. Other delicious shelf-stable flavor adders are things like jellies, honey, broths. As long as you don't open those broths, they can last in those boxes for long periods of time. Plant milks, that are the ones that aren't in the refrigerated section, can last for long periods of time. I don't know how this changed to zombie apocalypse, but I'm going with it, okay? If you're gonna have a refrigerator, frozen items, frozen fruits, frozen veggies, buy meats in bulk, portion them out, and freeze them. Meat can last I think it's 4 to 5 months depending on the meat. And again, it's not that the meat's going bad after that, it's just degrading in quality. So it's gonna be okay. You guys, we're gonna make it through the zombie apocalypse. Let's do this together. Protein powders. They will last for very long periods of time. It is very easy to just mix them into foods, mix them into water. They're excellent to have on hand. Protein bars, because they will also last for long periods of time, but you're not getting as good of a bang for your buck, and they won't last as long, just FYI. And then if you're like, well, I don't like the powder, I don't like the bars, and I might have issues with having access to water, protein drinks that are the type that you don't have to have refrigerated. Frozen meat, as we previously discussed. Eggs. Eggs are one of the best forms of protein that I think are so underrated. Not only are they portable if you want to hard boil them, which is great, they're not that expensive. As far as a protein, an animal protein goes that will last in your fridge, it will last the longest, because I believe the estimate is about a month. Maybe 4 to 6 weeks, eggs can last in your fridge. You can freeze them, which is also cool, something I didn't know about. And they're one of the most bioavailable forms of protein. So, eggs, you guys. There's a reason why they made a song about it. Water is actually a magical ingredient that allows bacteria to thrive and grow in food items. So removing that water actually prolongs the life of that food. So things like dried fruit, dehydrated milk, where you just have to add water to it, and dried meats, such as beef jerky, turkey jerky, fish jerky, you name it. If you purchase all of those foods, you will be stocked up for months, if not years, in preparation for the zombie apocalypse. Additionally, you will have all of your vitamins and minerals covered by eating these foods. Now, vitamin C is the only iffy one, and I'll tell you why. Because vitamin C is highly volatile, like my temper. It degrades very quickly when exposed to oxygen, heat, or light. So that is why the majority of the vitamin C that you get comes from fresh produce. Now, during the zombie apocalypse, that's a problem, right? Canned fruits and veggies don't have as much vitamin C in them because they have to be heated before they're canned. Now, some brands add ascorbic acid to them to help preserve the canned veggies. So you can either freeze some bell peppers because they're very high in vitamin C, or get frozen fruits, or take a C supplement. Buy now and freeze, because that is going to help you out. There are so many foods that you can freeze that you would not even believe that you can freeze, such as I didn't know you could freeze milk. And that's helped me out on numerous occasions where my milk is going to be going bad pretty soon and I know I'm not going to finish it. So I put it in a jar and I freeze it and then I use it later. No waste, no mess, no fuss. You can freeze butter. You guys, you can freeze butter. The rumor mill that's churning is saying that the next shortage is going to be with milk and butter. And I'm going to assume that includes cheese or anything dairy related. So you might want to consider freezing some of that stuff. And yes, you can freeze cheese too. And according to foodsafety.gov, as long as foods are kept below 0 degrees, they never go bad. They just degrade in quality. Now, if you are in a severe shortage, I would recommend keeping a multivitamin or something like that on hand. They will last 4 years, and it would just be a good way for you to make sure that all of your nutrients are covered in case you can't access foods for some reason. It is also possible to learn how to can and jar foods, which I wish I had the money and the time to do. If you do have that option, that's something definitely to consider, because that is probably the best thing you can do when preparing for a food shortage. And lastly, do not panic. Do not panic and go to the store and just grab everything you can and leave nothing for anybody else. It wasn't cool when it happened in 2020. It wasn't cool when it happened in 2021, and it's not going to be cool now. So let's all chill. What you can do is, keeping all of these foods in mind, every time you go to the grocery store, just grab a couple extra and maybe put aside an area of your home where you're like, okay, this is where I'm stocking up on foods, and just keep adding to that stockpile slowly. Don't go crazy. Everybody stay calm, okay? Ugh. And don't tell your neighbors that you're doing this, because they're gonna come to you first. I've seen too many Twilight Zones to know what happens to neighbors when an apocalypse happens or aliens come down from somewhere. It's not pretty. So good luck, everybody. It's rough out there. I hope y'all are staying safe and somewhat sane. If anybody has any suggestions on what they've tried or done during times of uncertainty with food, or maybe you experienced a zombie apocalypse before and would like to share tips with everybody, definitely share in the comments. Otherwise, that is everything. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Talk to you later, okay? Bye! The 8 food categories. I can't math, I can't math. Can you math? No, I can't. Gotta entertain myself. From food shortages, why can't I say that? From la 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 la. Ask British sailors. Ask British sailors. Say that 5 times fast. La 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 la. Do 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 do. What did Yumi say? Better said something nice, Yumi. Debunking the myth of Twinkie immortality. I knew it. And no, they would not survive nuclear war. I feel like my whole life is a lie. This is not important, but just so you know, this is my life. I will get a thought in my head, I will investigate it, and then the next thing I know, it's 6 hours later and I've wasted the day, but I know a lot of useless information to share with people. So, who's the loser now?